Excellent. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We are very excited to be covering our HawkSearch's top revenue boosting features, an extension of our very successful customer summit that happened a few weeks ago. We wanted to bring some of the presentations and some of the topics that were covered during that customer summit in case you didn't weren't able to make it. Or want a refresher. We want to make sure that we're bringing some of that information, that great information from that customer summit, to everyone here. I'm joined today. Well, I guess I should do an introduction real quick here. I'm Jonathan Meyer. I'm one of the senior solutions engineers. Unfortunately, wasn't able to make it to the customer summit. Had a conflict on my end, but very happy to be having these conversations today. And I am joined by the wonderful Megan Winter, who is part of our customer success team. Megan, go ahead and say hello.
Perfect. Thanks, Jonathan. I appreciate that. So I'm Megan Winter. As Jonathan mentioned, I'm a customer success director here at Bridgeline HawkSearch, and I'm really looking forward to chatting a bit further with this whole group on all the features today. I was at the customer summit in person, so I probably met most of you there if you attended. If not, would be happy to work with you moving forward. So don't hesitate to reach out. But let's
Excellent.
jump in.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get started here. And just as a quick reminder, you might notice that QR code down there at the bottom. That is going to be your quickest way to get into a one-on-one conversation with us. We are very excited to really get into some of this demonstration, cover some of the features that we have here. But we want to make sure that we're giving you guys the ability to, kind of sidestep the whole presentation if you'd like, get a real one-on-one conversation and speak directly to us. So go ahead and scan that QR code. If you're looking to kind of just have a one-on-one conversation, get in touch with Megan, get in touch with your customer success director. We'd love to kind of walk through these in a one-on-one conversation. But for everyone else, let's go ahead and tackle what we're going to cover today here. We're going to really be diving into the features that do focus in on the revenue boosting capabilities of HawkSearch. There is a lot that HawkSearch can do to help improve that bottom line of your average order values, do some cross sells and upsells. There's lots of great functionality in the tool to make sure that not only are we delivering good search, which is obviously going to be a component of driving good results and getting that conversion up in general, but there's other features that are outside of that kind of search functionality, kind of outside of that general relevancy that we can help tackle there. So we're going to be covering today machine learning. We're going to be covering recommendations, our instant engage functionality, and something that you might not immediately think about as a revenue boosting feature, but the reporting and the tuning opportunities that are available there for you to really look at what is happening on your site search and be able to take advantage of those use cases and really drill into those specific examples. So we're going to move through some examples here. Megan is going to be my kind of backup voice here, giving me some insights, give me her thoughts on what we're covering here. And we're going to lead off with the machine learning functionality. So this is something that HawkSearch has had for a number of years. We've built out on it every few years. We're adding in additional strategies here. We're really looking to help streamline the customer journey and really make the tool more of a hands-off kind of approach here, where we're not relying on a marketer, a merchandiser, a business user, someone who's currently using HawkSearch to go in and kind of have to, juggle a bunch of different rules or do things like that. This is one of the key ways that we can help our businesses, the people that are using HawkSearch, really drive those conversions, really increase that bottom line there, and do so automatically. Megan, I know that you've been working with a number of your customers on these sliders and really digging into the weeds in this. And just from kind of what your experience is there, what's the feedback you've heard about these kind of features? What are customers looking to drive with these?
Yeah, I would say, well, the first bit of feedback is that it's super easy to set up because it's literally you turn the slider and you slide it to the number you want, which is great. So it takes less than 2 seconds to really get these turned on and going for you, which is wonderful. The other piece is that you can instantly see your results with this. So once they're on, and you can kind of just set it and forget it and let customers do their thing and then come back a few days, few weeks, few months, build your own timeline and plan around this, but really start tracking, are we seeing these results changing any of these customer experiences? Are we seeing the personalization impact different buying, behaviors and habits? So like I said, once it's on, let it run, and then
Yeah.
you can tweak from there. So you really can't hurt anything with turning these on, which is the best
Yeah.
part.
Yeah. And let's walk down, let's break down what these are actually doing here. So, because,
Mhm.
I think the names are fairly self-evident, maybe except for the first one, the learning search multiplier. But let's go ahead and break these down. So there's really three kind of steps to the customer journey when someone is browsing a site using site search. The first part is going to be, well, what do they select out of those results? And you'll might sometimes hear this referred to as like click tracking. Now, the reason that HawkSearch doesn't refer to its learning search multiplier as click tracking is because it's actually doing more than just tracking those clicks. We're actually looking at where within those results are those clicks happening. So understanding that someone who makes a selection for a product that was the 20th or 24th result on a page versus someone making a selection for a product that was in the first row. Those have different meanings when we're thinking about this from a search experience. The item that was returned at the top of the results, if someone makes that selection, well, the search was doing its job. The right item was front and center. It's when someone gets further down into that experience is making a selection for that 12th, that 15th, that 20th product on that first page where we're really able to learn about that experience and say, this is a product that was too low in the results. So it's not just click tracking. We are actually looking at where are those results and using those signals to say, well, 10 people made this selection for the 24th item on the first page of results. That shouldn't be the 24th item. Let's go ahead and move that up a little bit. And of course, then the add to cart multiplier, the order multiplier, those are looking at those next steps. Well, now that they've selected that product from the search results, are they then adding that to their shopping cart? Are they then converting off of that, leading to an order? And you'll notice too in this screenshot that we have here that they are individually controlled through sliders. So to Megan's point, you really can't go wrong with this. And so the reason that we have this broken down into these different sliders is when we're thinking about driving revenue and making the tool this automated machine that can help improve your bottom line, well, you can crank up the fact that anything that's leading towards orders should be treated as more important when we're influencing these results. You can treat things like the add to cart signal being maybe not as important, but still a more important signal than just something that someone clicked into. And so these are all broken out into their own individual levels of influence. They're easily controlled through sliders in the back end of the tool, and they can really easily drive improvements in your search results and increase that average order value, helping even just improve the bottom line of conversion because people are able to find better what they're looking for.
Yeah, Jonathan, I think it's important to note too that these are multipliers, right? So outside of that boost for recommended items, each of these has a scale. I believe it's 1 to 3. So they are multiplying the impact that's already there. And then if you turn on the learning search, orders, maybe, and add to carts, they kind of stack on top of one another. So something just to keep in mind when you're looking at the numbers and wondering why are they 1 to 3 and one is 0 to 100, because the boosts are a little bit different. So
Exactly.
just a
And
tidbit there.
let's take a look at that. So we've got these great kind of examples of what this looks like with and without machine learning scores that are being applied here. So you'll see this first example. This is with those machine learning boosts, and it might be a little hard to see in this screenshot here, but you can notice that each one of these products then has the first product has a boost of 4.1, the next product has a boost of 3.4, the product after that 2.9. This is leveraging those machine learning boosts. So again, we're tracking, well, what are visitors interacting with, and what are they clicking into add to cart, and what are they converting off of, and using all of those signals that we're tracking to say, well, I've done a search for cheese in this example here, where we're turning in 800 and some odd plus results. Well, out of those 800 plus results, what are the ones that are actually going to be important? Not just that match from a cheese perspective of a keyword search, but that are really what the customers are looking for. And this is an example then, if we go to the next slide here, of what it would have looked like without any of those machine learning scores being applied here. We can see that we're getting lots of products that don't have images. We're getting just kind of the first result is just called cheese. So, like it's not it's a relevant result for what the keyword was that someone typed in here, but obviously not as good as the results that we're seeing when we're applying those machine learning scores and really leveraging the fact that HawkSearch can track and can see all of these different signals to understand this is what people are actually clicking into, this is what people are actually buying, and automatically improving this. And this is, again, to get that conversion rate up, to get that average order value up, to get people to actually purchase products. Let's remove those barriers. Let's take advantage of the fact that we can see all of this and do this automatically. No one needed to go into the tool at this point and say, oh, I want to make sure that the Alpine Bakery blend grated cheese was the second result. This just happened naturally because of HawkSearch tracking those signals, seeing what visitors are doing, and because of those sliders that we were just talking about to make sure that those are the things that appear at the top of the results. So a really good way to kind of drive that experience. Let's go ahead and move on, because obviously there's a lot more that we want to cover here, and we've only got a half hour to do so. So I want to make sure that we're getting some time to cover everything.
We need time for this one. So.
Yes. This is Megan's recent focus. Let's put it that way. There, spending a lot of time on our recommendations tool. So if the machine learning is really about driving kind of those conversions, getting the right products in front of someone and getting them the ability to purchase and find that easier, our recommendations is really about increasing that average order value. Now that they're on that product detail page, now that they're on the checkout page, what can we do to help increase that average order value. And the good news there is HawkSearch has a lot of great features and recommendation strategies to help drive that. You see here on this slide, of course, that we have a number of strategies. There's a ton of strategies actually in the tool, even more than what we're listing here. But some ones to call attention to, things like also added to cart, a clear example of being able to leverage what your visitors are buying together to make that relationship. Frequently bought together, a further extension of that strategy. Hot now, trending, bestsellers. This is all using the sales information that HawkSearch has access to again, make that automation, bring that relationship up to where I'm looking at this product. Oh, hey, well, here are what other visitors are looking at. Here's what other customers have bought when looking at this product. Here's what's selling really well, even, just to get that kind of engagement with your customers. So there's more that we can do here. And let's walk through some examples here. This is a clear example of the idea of people also bought. You'll also notice on this example here that there's recommendations being brought in from several different reasons, several different areas here. We have the product detail page on the left where we're seeing kind of the initial product information. There's the you may also like recommendations carousel right below that, related content. So HawkSearch's recommendations can be used for more than just product recommendations. We can also drive in content like that. And what we're seeing on the right hand of this slide here is what we would refer to as an interstitial, a little pop-up. If I click add to cart, this little pop-up comes up and says, hey, this item has been added to your cart. Very common kind of experience in your e-commerce shopping functionality. But we can also leverage in the recommendations at that point to say, at this point, when someone has indicated they're looking to buy this, let's show them what other customers have also bought. And this is a great way to increase that average order value by saying, hey, you've added this thread to your cart. Well, here's the scissors that you might need, or the shears, I should say. I should use the right terminology there. Here's the shears that you might be needing. Here's the hooks and eyes that you might be looking to go along with that. These are things that other customers have bought with this thread. And HawkSearch has learned from those relationships because of our ability to track this information, and we can drive these recommendations automatically. Megan, I know in some of the conversations that you've been having with your customers and kind of working through a lot of the just kind of the breadth of functionality we bring to the table here, what would be your experience in terms of like the things that are most interesting? What are most of our customers trying to solve for when we're looking to leverage recommendations like this?
I would say what they're trying to solve for, that's a tough question because each client is tackling something just a bit unique from one to the other. The biggest one I would say is that they're trying to make, on this full spectrum here, they're trying to make customers more aware of other products or other categories that are also available that maybe they haven't been able to find via search or didn't look for specifically, but trying to call attention to, hey, you might not know we have this, but we do.
Yeah.
So that's a big piece. I would say the other side of it is really trying to make items get them to their cart faster,
Yeah.
right? That's the
Yeah.
biggest thing is get them to add items to their cart so that we can get conversions. So putting things in front of customers that might be related, might be part of a bundle or a package, or it's like, frequent bought together. There's so many different strategies here that especially when you can kind of stack them together and pair strategies upon one another, it's really powerful to get really creative and really unique in how you want to set these up. So spending some time with your customer success director, where we often pull in Jonathan to help us kind of divvy up, how do we attack these recommendation widgets, right? You could have the basics where everyone might do just a featured items, bestsellers. Cool. That's a start. But think about how much deeper can you dig on those strategies and what are you truly trying to achieve to help your customers have a better, more personalized experience. So there's a lot of opportunity in this aspect for us to take advantage and help you as clients take advantage of this.
And I'll kind of add on here that, again, I'll reiterate the QR code that you see in the bottom there. This is one of the reasons why we love to have those one-on-one conversations. Like Megan was just saying that, reach out to your customer success director, scan that QR code. We can set up a one-on-one meeting because there is a lot that we can cover when it comes to these recommendations. And an example like we're seeing here of this this potato sack race bag being bought here and the recommendations that are being driven through that. This is an example of being able to leverage the built-in strategies of HawkSearch. So what are customers also buying in similar items to meet two different goals? Obviously, if I'm looking to, kind of improve that average order value here, if I'm buying a sack race in a carnival kind of design, well, it stands to reason that what other customers are going to buy along with that are other carnival party related items. And so you can see that what customers also bought on the top of that carousel there, all kind of carnival related items as a part of that experience there. No one needed to go into the tool and tell HawkSearch, hey, this is what we want to go ahead and add here. From
Yeah.
the similar items section, though, what we're seeing is this idea of, well, the tool understands where this product lives in the category. Of this is a sack race. This is a bag that people are going to put on them, do kind of a fun game outside or something like that. And so we're seeing that in the similar items. Maybe you weren't looking for a carnival design, or maybe you're looking for kind of alternate ideas that you might be looking for. You want to do a sack race, but you're maybe not sold entirely on the carnival theme. Here's some other ideas. Here's the mermaid idea. Here's the wedding potato sack race. Things like that to really help drive alternative suggestions. Because again, to Megan's point, when we're thinking about kind of product discovery, this is one of those ways that we can really help drive that functionality by having the tool really understand kind of the full range of the product offering and being able to understand the different use cases of customers also bought or similar items like we're seeing here.
I think it extends also, like I mentioned, every client has unique scenarios that they're trying to help for and work through, right? We have some clients who you might have a product that maybe there's a lot of education or content around that product. So pairing that product with recommended content or blog pieces or educational pieces that might pair with it, or how to's, right?
Mhm.
Instructions that would lead them to other products. So kind of thinking through that your customer journey on what are they coming to your site for? What are they trying to solve? What problem are they trying to solve or trying to find? And building out that experience to really help them through that
Yeah.
is important. I would, sorry, Jonathan,
No,
one more
please go
thing.
ahead.
I would also say, when you're thinking about recommendations, it's really easy to reach out to us or your customer success director and be like, let's set these up. Great. We're happy to do that and start with that conversation. But I would challenge each of you to think a little bit deeper. What are you trying to accomplish with a recommendation widget? And have you looked through any of the data you currently have on your site of where could they be placed or where are you
Mhm.
thinking something needs to be adjusted for? So have some of those thoughts before we have a conversation so that we can come most prepared to those calls and we can make the most of our time together.
And at the end of the day, we've seen great success with our customers leveraging this in terms of the uptick in conversions from before using HawkSearch recommendations to after using HawkSearch recommendations. I mean,
Yep.
numbers like a 20% lift is not unusual for people who start leveraging recommendations in terms of increasing their average order value with
Yeah.
HawkSearch. And it's really straightforward to get up and running like you're talking about there. And we can go so much deeper on these kind of specific business use cases like you're talking about. So great information there. Definitely one of the main drivers when we think about kind of helping kind of improve that product discovery, increase that average order value. But there's an extension of that that I think is really cool. And it's one of the features that came out more recently. So if you've been with the HawkSearch tool for a number of years, you might not even be aware this is now something that is available within the tool. Or if you've recently come on, this might not be something that you're, again, aware of that can really help with that discovery aspect. Because what this is doing, it's our instant engage functionality. This is leveraging machine learning and recommendations to drive suggestions before a visitor even starts to search. So this is a way for us to really lean into this idea of product discovery. I click into that search box before I've even started to type in what I'm looking for. I'm getting suggestions for popular searches. I'm getting suggestions for trending products. I'm getting suggestions for trending categories. So if there's any kind of seasonality to your business, if there's any kind of what's hot now is going to be different than in 2 weeks, or even if you just have a diverse catalog, it doesn't necessarily need to be seasonality that we're thinking about. It can be the idea of, I've got a very large product catalog, I've got maybe millions of products in a wide variety of different categories. Being able to show what's trending in those can help a visitor who comes to your site, doesn't know that you offer these other options. They click into that search box and all of a sudden they say, oh, hey, I came here looking for hex bolts, and now I see that you've got abrasive discs, and I didn't know that you carried abrasive discs, and now I suddenly do because other customers have looked into that. As a customer functionality as well, from thinking about from kind of the customer summit, definitely need to shout out Oriental Trading Company. You can see here on this is a big part of HawkSearch as well. We look for that kind of customer feedback. This was a feature requested from Oriental Trading Company, and it's really kind of helped driven a lot of the features that we're seeing kind of going forward, is looking for that feedback from our customers to be like, hey, HawkSearch, it's great that you do X, Y, and Z, but why don't you do this? Why can't we combine these things? Megan, I know that you've been dealing, not dealing, that's the wrong choice of words there. You have been supporting our
Yes.
customers in this capacity where there's a lot of kind of that feedback of like, hey, can we do X, Y, and Z?
Hmm.
And this instant engagement is an extension of that. Any kind of thought that you have on that?
I would say this is just a really powerful piece that not enough clients are taking advantage of. And I honestly think that they didn't know it was a capability that we had. So calling it out has, since the summit sparked a lot of it, like, hey, how does it work? How do we set it up? What do we do
Hmm.
here? And the setup of it is really simple. You can work with us to do that. And there is just a slight, I think it's a API call you have to add on the
Hmm.
one side. So really simple there. But it shouldn't affect too much. It shouldn't affect licensing costs. Shouldn't affect any of that, which is great. It will add one more, I believe it's one more API call because
Yeah.
it's accounting for a space or just using an API call to pop this up. So that's one thing to consider in terms of licensing, that it does add a little bit to your API limits, but it's not that impactful where it should throw you in a different realm. If
Yeah.
you're
For the
concerned from that side.
for the lift of licensing there, for that
Yeah.
little bit of additional API call, the benefit, the return basically on
Yes.
that is massive. Because
Hmm.
just as some examples again that we popped up here, we were mentioning Oriental Trading Company, and I think they're a really good example of some of that trending functionality when we're thinking seasonality.
Very
Obviously,
much.
we just got through Halloween when the customer summit was happening. It was right in the middle of October, and we can see here that that is reflected very clearly in this screenshot from
Mhm.
Oriental Trading Company, where we're seeing the popular categories. The second option, Halloween. All of the products that we're seeing there, all Halloween related. And especially for a catalog as diverse as Oriental Trading Company, it can be difficult to know, do they carry X, Y, and Z products because of just how uh, diversified the party supply space is. And so again, you can see, hey, I might be getting ready to throw a Halloween party, or in this case now maybe Thanksgiving or Christmas that are coming up here. We're getting right into the thick of holiday season here. This is one of those ways that we can help them by saying, hey, a visitor comes to your site, let's hit them with not only the trending categories, let's hit them with the suggestions for products. And then as you can see in the B2B space, this isn't just a B2C or kind of seasonal product
Mhm.
line here. Being able to leverage the fact that HawkSearch then knows, well, what are your visitors clicking into? What are they navigating to? What is trending on that? Again, I might not know that your site carries time delay fuses. Suddenly I'm aware of that. The popular searches being suggested right away can help give exposure into what are other visitors looking for on your site before you start to type in. Really, again, just a key feature in terms of helping that product discovery, which helps improve that bottom line there.
Absolutely.
Let's get into kind of one of the last pieces that we want to tackle here. I know we're coming up on time. The reporting and tuning, as the little subhead says there, really the goal here is to stop guessing. We want you to be aware of what your reports are capable of. There's a lot that HawkSearch is tracking. There's a lot that we can help kind of expose out. There's all this different features and functionality of HawkSearch, and so much of it can drive and improve and help that bottom line. How can we help you understand what's going on there? And so all of these reports that we've kind of highlighted here, again, calling attention to several reports that there's even more in the tool, as you guys should be aware of. If you haven't, go ahead and take a look at that reporting section in the tool. But some ones to call out, make sure everyone is aware of. Your top 250 search keywords. That's going to be, of course, a key report that'll help you just get insights into how often our search is happening, by how many unique users, or how many orders are those leading to, the various conversion percentages for those. And keep in mind, if you've not taken a look at the reporting section in a while, each one of those columns you can sort by. So if I want to understand, well, what is my most search term that has the least conversions, I can organize that report to get that information out of it
Hmm.
and be able to get that insight. And this is just, of course, a great way to see, well, what are visitors actually searching on the site, and what is leading towards those conversions. Another good one to highlight here, searches with poor results. This is going to be one of those reports that I think should be, if you're logging in every other week or so, maybe once a month, this is, along with your top 250 search keywords, this should be one of the other reports that you prioritize, because this is going to show you the use cases where visitors have come to your site, done a keyword search, and got back in either no results or only a small set of results. And you can also then, one of the recent improvements we've made to this report is understand, is there a redirect? So if there's a keyword that we're seeing here for the term registry, well, that's not necessarily a product line that you're going to carry, but it is going to be an experience that when visitors are coming to your site, store hours, locations, registry, customer service, those kinds of things. Typically not going to have search results being returned there, but we can use the redirect functionality of HawkSearch to, again, improve that customer service experience. Make sure that the visitor, if I'm doing a search for registry, it's going to lead to a poor experience if I get back in 0 results, versus directing them to the registry page, which can get them to the whole commerce end of the experience quicker. So we can highlight in this report here that there is a redirect set up.
Yeah, I would say with this report too, Jonathan, it's important that this one is viewed as something to take action on, right? You don't
Mm-hmm.
want to ignore this report. So you should be, if you're coming into reporting and you're looking for any kind of information, check this one out. At least take a few minutes to look at this one, because if customers are searching for something and it's not available, it's not there, you should know. But
Yeah.
also, is it a product that maybe you should consider carrying? Does your catalog need it? Are they searching for a competitor's product that maybe you
Mm-hmm.
need a redirect or a synonym or a keyword replacement for? So this report allows you to take actionable next steps on how to better improve what that customer is trying to find.
And you said the magic word. They're actionable next steps. That's really
Yes.
what all of these reports are meant to help highlight here, is to give you those insights into, well, I'm seeing these things, so what do I want to go ahead
Mhm.
and correct on? So like the spelling suggestions, we're going to go ahead and show you, hey, here are the search terms that are happening. Here's what the tool corrected it for. Here's some other suggestions. Is this the right experience? It can, we're fairly confident in the way the tool works to drive that, but this is again that idea of, let's remove the guesswork here and make sure that you understand exactly what the tool is doing and is it working the way that you'd like to do.
Mhm.
Searches without clicks, again, that idea of where we were just talking about understanding your top keyword searches, understanding your searches with poor results. This is kind of the marriage of those two ideas of, these are searches where results are being returned but then no one's interacting with them. So it's the kind of worst case scenario, almost, if you will, where it wasn't that they were searching on something you don't carry. They searched on something that you do carry and they got back in results, but then they didn't do anything with it. And that's the where you
Mhm.
might want to zero in. To your point there, Megan, this is then an actionable result of saying, oh, well, we saw ball valve was searched 73 times with no clicks and had 0 searches where someone did do a click on that product line. That's a concern. We want to dig deeper into that and understand more about what's happening there and leverage the other tools of, do we want to boost or bury? Do we maybe need to turn on some of those machine learning scores to help get that
Mhm.
information?
I think before we jump into conversion
Yeah.
tracking, well, actually, it might lead into this, but something I've heard a lot on the B2B side is several customers, sales teams use their sites as internal knowledge bases, right? So seeing those searches without clicks or searches with no conversions, whatever it might be, but it gives you a chance to also talk to your sales team and your internal teams. And are they using the site as a reference point? That might be telling of some of the data points you're seeing. So just to keep that in mind.
That is a very great point to bring up, is that this is not just, especially for our B2B clients, this is not
Mhm.
just a tool to understand, well, what are my visitors searching for? With the way that we can support segmentation and visitor targeting and understanding the individual customers that are logging in, different accounts that are logging in, different companies that are logging in and viewing the results, different warehouses, you can segment all of these reports that we're talking about here to get those insights. That's a really great call out, Megan, there. I really appreciate you bringing that up there. And that leads into
Mhm.
conversion tracking. Obviously, wanting to be able to understand not just what are those searches that are performing poorly or that we're seeing lots of keyword searches, but which ones are actually driving sales on our site. And of course, we do break that down by the keyword, the number of times that those have been searched on, the orders that those have led toward, the total order value, and of course, the average order and the conversion percentage. So this is right in line with what we're talking about from the perspective of using the tools within HawkSearch to increase those average order values and understand what is performing well for you. And of course, we can also track those on a one by one basis. So you can start to see, okay, this particular keyword was tied to this particular order that led to this particular dollar amount. This can really help you give insights into that one to one level of, well, what is the breakdown on these individual keyword searches versus the summary.
Mhm.
And last but not least, so we've gotten through kind of all of the reporting. We've talked about the machine learning. We've talked about the recommendations. We've talked about instant engage. Something to be aware of, and this is kind of the homework part of this conversation here, is that all of this functionality, even a lot of the reporting, is tied up through HawkSearch's ability to track experiences. And so there is what we refer to event tracking or activity tracking. You want to make sure that this is working, because all of the features that we were just talking about don't work if the tracking isn't set up. So that is step one.
Mhm.
And there's a couple of ways that you can do that. Obviously, you can reach out to your customer success director. There's that QR code again. Scan that if you need help with that. Reach out to the support desk to make sure this is enabled. A real quick way to see if it's working, though, is you can go into the back end of the tool under the admin section and in the tracking events preview. See that over there on the left hand side, where you can then see, are we getting those signals in? This is one of those ways that you can at least get an idea of, are we tracking the page loads? Are we tracking the sales events? You can get a little bit more insight into, is HawkSearch at least seeing this? But again, if you're not wanting to get into this, you're not comfortable with that, please reach out to your success director, scan that QR code. We're more than happy to walk through and make sure this is set up, because there is a lot, as you can see here, the different kinds of events that we can track. There's a lot that we can see. We can see the different sales events. We can see the add to cart signals. We can see, are they, is that banner loading? What are they searching for? Any of that kind of information can be communicated to HawkSearch to drive all those other functionality we've been showing you. Understand what is that customer journey, understand what are visitors clicking into, what should we show them as a recommendation, what's important to show as part of that instant engage. So this is a critical part of the conversation. We wanted to make sure that we're calling attention to it. But to Megan's, Megan, I think you said something before. This is kind of that next step. Now that we've kind of shown you the benefit here, this is where you need to go to next, is understanding, okay, is this set up for us?
Absolutely. It's the most important piece. Take a peek, scan that QR code, and just know that you have an entire HawkSearch support team, CSD team, everyone here who wants to see you be successful with this tool. There is so much this tool can do, and tracking is truly the start of making that tool really powerful for you. So we're looking forward to working with you, and thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, Megan, it's been wonderful joining me today on this. It's always fun to have a new voice on these calls. Me and Gavin, I think we've said everything we can today.
Yeah, Gavin's traveling. You got me today.
Yes, no. You might have sent Gavin traveling more. But no, Megan, thank you for joining me. Thank you to everyone who did take the time to join us today. I'll reiterate one more time, not to sound like a broken record. Scan that QR code. We're going to have more of these conversations coming up soon. Keep an eye on your email, but go ahead and get in front of the queue there. Scan that QR code. We'll be happy to do a one-on-one demonstration or conversation with you guys.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your week.
Have a great day.